Chrissy again, and I get to do the intro. So we're going to show you how to make cheesy potatoes. A family favorite that's been handed down on my side of the family for a couple generations, and it's a very simple recipe. And I'll let Sassy Sue go over the ingredients, and we'll also add the recipe, the traditional printed recipe, at the end of this video for all you guys to refer to. Okay, remember, like, share, subscribe, Land Cruiser Midwest. Today's recipe is brought to you by Wisconsin Cheese. Cheese and more cheese. Just kidding, it's not brought to you by anybody, but we're going to use a crap load of cheese in this recipe, but it will taste wonderful when we're done, for sure. Okay, this is Land Cruiser Midwest, and we're cooking up a storm.
It sounds more special. Shredded potatoes. You can use any kind of shredded potatoes you want. These are the regular old-fashioned kind. Spread it out in the bottom of the pan. To about 2/3
Dirty the cooking cat.
The key ingredients: minced onion or dry onion and Hooters seasoning salt. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of this on each container. This is the minced onions. And here's the Hooters seasoning salt. Kind of like a Lowry salt, but you can use it on anything.
Tell me about all these spices and ingredients
Yeah,
over here,
seasoning.
Sassy Sue.
Okay. Here we go. This is a cheesy potatoes family recipe, and we're going to start off by putting in 1 cup of milk into the pan here. 1 cup milk. And then we're going to add 1/2 pint heavy whipping cream. And that's, you can use cream half and half, but the heavy whipping cream makes it creamier and more fuller. We're going to mix that in there, and then also the cheese, shredded cheese, and we got a variety of cheeses: sharp cheddar, Colby Jack, taco style. You can use whatever cheese you want. And our tip is get the finely shredded cheese if you can, because that melts better, because we're going to be heating this all up in the pan and slowly mixing in the cheese and melting it. So these finely shredded cheese melts a lot better than the bigger shreds. And then we're going to add dry mustard, or nutmeg, and a pinch of salt. And in our dish already, we have some dry onions on top and the Hooters seasoning salt. We've got Hooters seasoning salt on here already, and the dry minced onions on here already. And we're going to mix all the other ingredients together and pour it on top of the casserole dish. And then we're going to dot it with little pieces of butter, and we're going to cook it. We're going to bake it 1 hour at 325 degrees in the oven. We're going to bake it for 1 hour. All right, let's get started. 8 ounces of heavy whipping cream. This is 16 ounces, so I'm going to measure out half of this, which will be 8 ounces. Because we're going to mix a little bit more. There's the heavy whipping cream. Charlie the cat wants to help. Alright, we're going to start mixing in some cheese. We're going to see if it's hot enough to start melting the cheese. And again, use the finely shredded cheese if you can. And a little bit at a time. And the recipe calls for 10 ounces of shredded cheese. Okay, I just added 1 teaspoon of the ground nutmeg. That's already in there. And 1/8 teaspoon of, oh, that was the dry mustard, sorry. One teaspoon of the dry ground mustard. We already put in there. And then nutmeg, it's 1/8 teaspoon nutmeg. So about 1/8 teaspoon nutmeg. Nutmeg. And a pinch of salt. I want to get that out. Actually, we have a packet here. Pinch of salt. Keep stirring. It's getting thicker now. Good. I think that's all the spices. Let me double check. Put in the minced dry mustard, nutmeg, salt, put in the whipping cream, the milk, cheese, and I think that's about it. Stir the butter, then you just kind of sprinkle it with a little paprika to taste, whatever you want. This recipe you can actually make ahead of time, and you can refrigerate it. Just cover it with plastic and refrigerate it for a day, 2 days, 3 days before you want to bake it. So that's why this is great for the holidays, because you can make it ahead of time, refrigerate it, and then when you want to bake it, you just take it out of the refrigerator and then let it stand at room temperature for 1 hour if you want. Otherwise, you can still just put it right into the oven. But this cooks at 325 degrees, and we're going to bake it for 1 hour.
What kind of cheese did you use?
We used a mixture. Finely shredded cheese is the key. It calls for shredded cheese, but finely shredded is the best. I think we used a taco blend, sharp cheddar, and Colby Jack. I think that was the mixtures we used.
Where's it come from?
The cheese comes from Wisconsin, our neighbor.
Is there anything else that comes from Wisconsin?
Probably the butter and the milk. Probably a lot of things. But the beer. We've got Spotted Cow beer. We're drinking wine now, but maybe with our dinner we'll have some beer. Spotted Cow from New Glarus, Wisconsin. Be best.
So some of the viewers will say this is a highly cholesterol-laden dish. What do you have to say in response?
It's well worth it. It's the holiday splurge. Yes, it is high cholesterol with cheese and all well worth it.
What's your favorite pie?
My favorite pie is French silk from Baker's Square, but today we have a blueberry pie. We have a blueberry pie, which is good. Other than that, I think I like cherry pie and apple pie.
Dark meat or white meat?
Oh, definitely white meat. I don't care for the dark meat, too greasy. Definitely white meat, all the way.
Gravy or no gravy?
Oh, definitely gravy. Lots of gravy.
Leftovers or no leftovers?
Leftovers. For a couple days, leftovers are good. And then after that, you can use leftovers and make a turkey sandwich. Take some bread, any kind of bread, and toast the bread. Put a little mayonnaise on it, and heat up. Cut up a little bit of the leftover turkey.
Cooking idol?
I don't really have one, but I'd say I was probably watching Martha Stewart a lot growing up. And Rachel Ray.
Favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby? Don't really have one right now.
Favorite YouTube channel?
Land Cruiser Midwest.
Okay, over and out.